is Thursday, the 15th of June. Welcome to ETV News at 8. I am Melanie Rice. Let's take a look at your headlines. A deadly gun battle in Mariannhill as police finally close in on a group of notorious suspects. If you're in the Cape, stay indoors this long weekend. More dark clouds, storms and floods are on the way. And a fitting farewell to the man who led the golden era of South African football, the late Clive Barker. We'll get to those stories in a moment. First, Tapuma Makina with your sports headlines. Taps.
Thanks, Mel. Banyana coach Desiree Ellis likes what she's seen so far after the first week of her squad's preparation for next month's World Cup. Details on that in a few minutes. Back to you.
Thanks, Taps. Let's go straight to those top stories. Well, for the second time this month, a crime scene which wouldn't be out of place in a Hollywood movie played itself out in Durban. 5 very dangerous criminals were shot dead in a gun battle with police in Mariannhill today. They'd been on the police's radar for quite some time. Police say the suspects are linked to a series of violent crimes, including murder. A number of shots were fired during the exchange, but no police officers were injured. Now, just 2 weeks ago, a similar scene played out in Westville. Police responded quickly, and all of the suspects were also shot and killed. Police say they are dealing with hardened criminals who simply do not want to give up without a fight.
And as the police, when you sing a song, we'll sing it better. You fire shots at us, you are inviting the same kind of response. We don't go out to kill suspects. We want to arrest them. We want to trial them. We want them behind bars. We want justice to be served. You shoot at us, definitely we'll shoot at you, and strongly so.
Well, the estranged husband of slain gospel singer Delana Kader will remain behind bars. Ian Rawlins has been denied bail in the Pietermaritzburg Magistrates Court. The businessman is accused of killing the mom of 3 on the eve of Mother's Day. She was shot 10 times after leaving a party in Ashburton. It's believed that he also threatened to kill their 4-year-old daughter. Rawlins told the court he's not a violent person, but those close to Kader claim that he did have a history of abuse. There was an outpouring of emotion inside and outside court this morning as family and friends rallied in support of the singer.
A scathing judgment. Absolutely. I love the way this judge was so direct, fair, and to the point. One of the things that stood out for me is that he says, I believe you will be convicted of this crime and you will spend a life sentence in jail.
Well, it's been a tough 2 days for residents across the Western Cape. The province has been battered by heavy rains and floods that have caused extensive damage. Some residents in Paarl and surrounding areas are still picking up the pieces after their homes were completely flooded. The Drakenstein municipality says it is the worst flooding to hit the region in decades. Mop-up operations are underway as residents scramble to save what they can. The heavy rain, which caused some rivers to burst their banks, have also badly affected some provincial roads. Now, the Bainskloof, Franschhoek and De Toyskloof passes remain closed until further notice. And more rain is expected heading into the weekend. But some residents are already paying a very heavy price.
It's too much. It's too much to mention, and it's very emotional for me. Especially if you have kids that must go to school.
Sitting room, dining room, our ensuite, you know, as I said, my garage. The other thing, as you can look there to the back, the fire department, that members had to break some of my fiber grid.
The water went right through my house. Throughout, we had to sweep since yesterday morning. I was in my PJs. When I got up past 6, we started sweeping out water.
The online school admissions process has proven to be a nightmare for many parents, with some scrambling for places just weeks after being turned away from their school of choice. Now, Gauteng Education MEC Matome Chilwane believes that the portal is efficient, but he says it's up to parents to apply early. Online admissions for grade 1 and 8 pupils in Gauteng are now open, and the MEC was in Winterveld in Tshwane, helping parents without internet access to apply for new schools. He says any delay would be a major risk for parents.
We need parents to apply early. Yes, we are aware that there will be late applications. We are aware that some parents are going to bring their children in January. We do have contingencies in place, but the disadvantage of applying late and bring your child late, you will not get the school you want. You might find that you bring your child and you say the space that we have available is far from where you are or far from where you work. So those are the disadvantages, and parents lose that by not applying in this current period.
South Africans are gearing up to celebrate Youth Day tomorrow, and the Automobile Association is urging young people to be safe on the roads. Now, last year, almost half of all road fatalities in South Africa were those aged between 20 and 39 years old.
So there needs to be a lot more buy-in from the traffic law enforcement departments around the country to ensure that we have a lot more traffic law enforcers and that the law is being applied. And then I think obviously one of the things that many South Africans talk about is this problem of corruption and bribery. And we know that too many people are buying their licenses, parents and guardians who feel that they don't want to go through the hassle of actually ensuring their children can drive properly.
South Africa's youth must own the future in a fractured and uncertain world. And that is the view of Mzukisi Qobo, the head of Wits School of Governance. Qobo was speaking at the South Africa-China Youth Dialogue.
I think we are already rewriting many of the rules that underpin and inform economic policy, and are increasingly realizing that markets alone will not create a nirvana of progress and prosperity. The challenge for us is to imagine a different future and to experiment with new philosophical and policy frames, especially since it is clear that the ones we have been relying on are no longer equal to the task.
And still ahead here on ETV News, illegal power connections are eating into Eskom's pockets, even more difficult to keep the lights on.
Calling all bulk deal buyers, the ones who go the extra mile for a nappy deal. XXL Savings is back. Get Crystal Valley bulk cheddar or Gouda cheese, only $99.99. Nescafe Classic instant coffee, 2 for 149 Rand. And buy 2 packs of Ariel detergent capsules and get a third free. You save 115 Rand. XXL Savings, now on at Checkers.
We really miss Mom when we have a cold, but with Vicks VapoRub, it feels like she's right here with us. New and improved Vicks VapoRub Vaporizing Ointment contains camphor that relieves cough, eucalyptus oil that relieves body ache and headache, and menthol that eases nasal congestion.
How is he?
Sound Vicks VapoRub.
Let it out. It's been 6 months. Ngiyamnquma lo muntu permanent ndoda yembisi.
Sick of the snotties and Flemings? Try ACC 600 one a day. It gets to work fast to break down mucus and phlegm to help you feel yourself again. Use ACC 600 one a day, suitable from 14 years of age. When you fill your skin with life, it feels transformed. Sanix shower gels with Moisture Lock technology deeply nourishes your skin for 12 hours. Sanix, the #1 brand recommended by dermatologists.
Eskom says that illegal power connections cost them 22 billion rand the last financial year, a third of that in Gauteng. The utility is urging people to report those who are illegally connecting electricity.
Non-technical losses that we are suffering as Eskom, in the last financial year it was close to 22 billion. And if you look at the contribution of Gauteng on the non-technical losses, it's about 7 billion per annum. So you can imagine it's a lot of money that we are losing as Eskom, that we are supposed to be using to be maintaining our plant, to making sure that we create infrastructure that will ensure that the people get electricity. Customers that are supposed to be off load shedding, or when they are supposed to be on, they are off because we have got network faults that are generated by these illegal connections.
Well, unions NUM and NUMSA have signed a 3-year wage agreement with Eskom, and workers will get a 7% pay hike for each of the 3 years. These increases will come into effect from the 1st of July. The agreement expires at the end of June 2026. Eskom has also agreed to pay permanent workers a once-off taxable payment of 10,000 rand. The utility had initially tabled an increase of 5.25%. while unions had demanded double-digit increases for all workers. Tshwane Mayor Cilliers Brink says the Metro has begun the process of blacklisting companies that failed to complete the Rooiwal upgrade project. Now, the troubled project has been blamed for Hammanskraal's ongoing water crisis, and Brink says the companies received over 290 million rand but failed to deliver. The Office of the City Manager has written to the affected parties and has given them 14 days to respond. The city says that disciplinary steps are currently being taken against officials who were implicated in the awarding of the tender. And still ahead here on ETV News, international rugby boss is set to bring some changes to the format of European competitions for the new season. We'll take you through those changes after the break.
Ow! Mama, physical gums again. You should visit the dentist.
If you're experiencing tooth and gum problems, I recommend Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal combines the oral care science from Colgate with nature's herbs. It is scientifically proven for strong teeth and healthy gums. Scientifically proven for strong teeth and healthy gums.
For being the household electrician, the weekend Brightmaster, and the best comedian on earth, here's a great deal to spoil Dad. Get the Huawei P60 Pro with the crisp UltraVision X-Mag camera. Make it his today on a 1.2 gig Red Core plan for only 779 Rand per month. Plus, add the Huawei Watch 3 SIM for 149 Rand per month over 36 months. Available in-store or online. Further together. Vodacom.
Dan, I know that meat looks tender, but not so much when your chest is burning. Remember the last time? Yeah, wow, bo. Iring had been mumani.
She in any situation. Eno gets to work in 6 seconds to relieve the 6 symptoms of heartburn.
And it's time for your sports news with Tapumo Makina. What's happening, Taps?
Let's start off with football. The local footballing fraternity blew the final whistle for one of its favorite sons today. Former Bafana Bafana coach Clive Barker died this past weekend and was given a fitting send-off at an official provincial funeral in Durban. Barker will forever be known as the man who oversaw the country's most successful period in football. The likes of Lucas Hadebe, Dr. Khumalo and Neil Tovey all paid their respects to the man that put South African football on the world map.
It brings sadness to see when it comes to things like this, and when we eventually, pass out and people want to come on stage and say the good things. And, I believe in giving people and let the people smell the flowers while they're still alive.
A white man going into the townships in 1974, that's a full 20 years before changes happened in this country, was indeed rare. And he was certainly amongst the first whites to coach what was then an only black league, the NPSL.
This man deserved better. We should have acknowledged him while he was still alive. But at the moment, I strongly believe that we failed him as a nation.
Great players, great teams, great combinations. They could not have been great combinations without a mentor, a fatherly figure that at any moment in time could not only solve your football problems but also solve your domestic problems. And I've got a saying that better people make people better.
Banyana Banyana's first week in camp has gone well, according to coach Desiree Ellis. A 33-player squad assembled in Johannesburg this week to prepare for the upcoming FIFA Women's World Cup to be hosted in Australia and New Zealand next month. The majority of players are from the local league, with the overseas contingent yet to join. However, Ellis has given the assurance that it won't affect the team's preparations negatively.
So players will come in at different times. They've all ended this season. You also have to give them some time off to refresh the batteries. But, we're governed by that, and we know the quality that they bring. We know the professionalism that they have, and they're not sitting wherever they are, not doing anything, because they know many of them have been to the World Cup, so they know exactly, what it is where they need to be when they come into camp.
Organisers of the Champions Cup continue to search for a working formula. The competition's format is set to change for the third time in 5 seasons. The competition will take a more traditional pool system after 3 campaigns with 2 pools consisting of 12 players. This system replaced the long-standing format of 5 groups of 4 back in 2020. The competition will now comprise 4 pools of 6 teams, meaning that the 24-team tournament will host 8 teams from the 3 competing leagues. Those include the United Rugby Championship, the Top 14, and the English Premiership. Teams from the same league won't be able to face off during this stage, with clubs set to play each other once, either home or away, depending on the draw. The Bulls and the Stormers will compete in the Champions Cup, while the Sharks and the Lions will take part in the second-tier Challenge Cup. Dricus du Plessis is fine-tuning his preparations ahead of his eagerly awaited UFC bout against Robert Whittaker. Du Plessis will jet off to Las Vegas next week, with the fight set to take place on the 8th of July.
Preparations have been absolutely amazing. We have left no stone unturned. We have made sure that I am fighting the highest ranking fighter. I am fighting for the opportunity to fight, to be a #1 contender and fight for the world title. So, like I said, we had to step it up, and we always step it up for every camp, for every fight. We try and be better than the previous one. But obviously, the motivation for this, fighting an incredible opponent like Robert Whittaker, we stepped it up, not just up a notch. We made sure that we step up our game completely. And
And in your international news, at least 79 migrants have died after their boat sank off the coast of Greece last night. The death toll is expected to rise. Now, strong winds capsized the packed fishing boat, and that prompted search and rescue missions, which did continue today. At least 100 people have been rescued in international waters. The survivors are mainly from Syria, Pakistan and Egypt. There are reports that 750 people were on board. And thousands of protesters across Poland are calling for abortion to be legalized. This follows the deaths of several pregnant people, most recently 33-year-old Dorota Lalek, who died 3 days after being admitted to hospital in May. Poland's Patients' Rights Ombudsman says the hospital violated her rights by not informing her that an abortion could have saved her life. Abortion in the country is only legal in cases of rape and incest, or if there is a risk to the health or life of the mother. And in a remarkable medical feat, Sri Lankan military doctors have successfully extracted the world's largest kidney stone. Now, it was removed at the Colombo Army Hospital from a 62-year-old retired soldier who had been suffering with pain since 2020, and it weighed in at 801 grams. That's 5 times bigger than an average stone. The groundbreaking procedure has been recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records. Government is keeping a lid on scrap metal exports by extending its ban by a further 6 months. A government gazette notice says that the International Trade and Administration Commission has been asked not to accept or process any applications for export permits. Now, this applies to ferrous and non-ferrous waste and scrap metal. Government's trying hard to combat the theft and vandalism of public infrastructure. Copper cable theft is truly hammering the economy. It also contributes to the country. That might seem a bit crazy that Beyonce can affect inflation, but that appears to be the case in Sweden. Inflation dipped below 10% in May, but it was still higher than what was expected. Danske Bank says that Beyonce's much-hyped concert in May probably accounted for 0.2 of the 0.3% percentage points that were added to inflation by hotel and restaurant prices. Tens of thousands of fans flocked to Stockholm to catch the 2 concerts that kicked off her first solo tour in 7 years. And now for a look at your market indicators. And still ahead here on ETV News. We bring you the smooth, soulful sounds of a 12-year-old intent on making people listen.
Today is going to be a big day.
Why do you always say that?
What if today is the day that my boss finally notices all my hard work?
Come by my office. With Aquafresh confidence, today can be a big day.
Whatever happens, we're ready.
Complete Care. Formulated with 8 benefits in one product. Have complete confidence to make every day a big day.
Oh, Key Health? It's a medical aid.
One of many to choose from.
And while Key Health is not allowed to do comparative advertising,
You know, compare costs, benefits,
and rent for rent value with all the other schemes out there.
you can.
And you really should. When Key Health says things like affordable, easy to use, and loaded with benefits, it's not all talk, because real value speaks for itself.
For being the household electrician, the weekend Brymaster, and the best comedian on earth, here's a great deal to spoil dad. Get the Huawei P60 Pro with the crisp UltraVision X-Mag camera. Make it his 1.2 gig Red Core plan for only 779 Rand per month. Plus, add the Huawei Watch 3 eSIM for 149 Rand per month over 36 months. Available in-store or online. Further together, Vodacom.
And finally, these days, not everyone goes viral on social media for the right reasons, but one Cape Town tween has managed to do just that.
A video of him performing a beautiful rendition of Beyoncé's Listen has surpassed 5 million views in just a few weeks, and his sweet melodies now have listening.
The story brought
Why I become famous is because I listen Beyonce song and people like it in TikTok, Instagram and Facebook.
Yes, I think he gets singing talent from both family. The person who influenced Yoruba is his mom.
I started singing when I was 2 years old, and my mother always told me that I will take the remote and control the TV, and if somebody's singing in the TV, I will sing like him. One night only, that's all we have to spend. One night only, let's not pretend to care. My favorite singers is Beyonce and Jennifer Hudson, because their songs, I love it and I like listen and One Night Only.
I feel so proud. I feel so honorable to have a son like Yonwaba. He makes me very, very proud. I'm proud of him.
He's got the voice and the confidence.
I mean, how is that voice coming from that little body? I don't understand.
I want to see, remember John Legend did that duet thing?
Yeah.
I want to see Beyonce.
He would be great.
He would be amazing. Well, that's where we're going to leave it for today.
We're back with you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Stay tuned for the weather and have a great evening.
Show turns 3 years old this month. Yes. And while we may still be in our toddler phase, there's no excuse for how some people behave.
I'm allowed to walk. Let me walk.
What do you have? No comment.
Oh, you don't blaspheme?
No.
What is this then? Why am I here?
Throwing insults and underestimating us. Showing off their maturity levels.
Do you do research on the stuff before you arrest people, so by the way?
No, I just got up this morning and decided to come here.
That's how it looks like.
But at just 3 years old, we're proud to say we dish up more than we get.
And I will keep on at it until you pay those people back their money or you go to jail. One of two things need to happen.
Don't miss it, The Davy Show, Sunday nights, 6 p.m. on ETV.
Isita, The Enemy, weeknights at 9:30 p.m. on E!
believe that this magazine has something to offer the world. You know, it's too important to be shelved. And Nubia could do with the business